And that's something that I can have in addition to whatever it is that I'm eating, because you're gonna get hungry, especially if you're working out and burning a lot of calories at the same time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you clicked on this video. I really want to share with you the easy, simple ways that you can use today to get in more vegetables in your diet. So we all need fruits and vegetables every day. We tend to get more fruits in than vegetables, which is why I'm focusing more on veggies than fruits. Everyone needs at least 4 to 5 servings of vegetables every single day. It can sound a little difficult just because the typical American diet tends to be more focused on protein and carbs, and that's with proteins like your meats versus vegetables as proteins. And also thinking about how carbs we typically have are like your rice and your pastas. We aren't really having in those fruits and vegetables that have those micronutrients that help us support our everyday needs. So of those fruits and vegetables that you're getting, of that 4 to 5 servings that's recommended, typically we're having most of those to be fruit. But you don't want that to be mostly fruit, just because fruit also has sugars in them. Those who are diabetic or at risk for diabetes, you really want to watch your sugars, and that's where vegetables come in. And vegetables have those micronutrients that are really good for you to support your healthy blood flow as well as your iron levels. Like vegetables, there's just an unlimited amount of benefits to them. We just aren't getting them in enough. When you have those vegetables, you want to make sure you have at least 3 servings per day. And that may just seem like so daunting, especially if you aren't used to consciously having vegetables. And people can kind of get bored with just snacking on them raw. I will say that raw vegetables versus cooked vegetables, there have been studies, and it's a little bit conflicting, where it shows that you don't have as many nutrients in your cooked vegetables versus your raw vegetables. Frozen vegetables tend to be a good source as well, especially if they're flash frozen. It only tends to be an issue when you're having everything cooked. So I would just encourage you to have a mix of both raw and cooked vegetables, just so that you have that variety and to satisfy just your taste preferences. I really hope this video helps to spark some creativity when it comes to you eating more vegetables every day. So a first simple way for you to sneak in some veggies are for you to have them in smoothies. I talk about this all the time on my channel, how I love having veggies in my smoothies, but I really think that it's great to have just a simple base of both a leafy green and carrots. I love shredded carrots just because they blend very easily. Baby carrots do a good job too, especially if you have a good blender, then it's no problem at all and it won't be chunky. But I love having that base of that green. A good clean green smoothie will take you a long way. So I love spinach because you can't taste it at all. Arugula tends to be kind of bitter, so I don't really like that too much. I do enjoy kale in my smoothies. However, sometimes kale can be pretty tough when you're getting it at the grocery store. Lucky for me, my mom has a little mini garden in a greenhouse in her backyard. So I like to basically grocery shop at her house, and her kale is so tender and so soft. It's not like when you go to the grocery store and that tough, rough kale. It's just like little baby kale. And it's just so much easier to blend, just as if I was using spinach. So now if you're feeling a little adventurous, you do have the options of cauliflower, beets, and even winter squash to add to your smoothies, just to get in some more vegetables that way. I haven't tried those yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to mixing it up a little bit this summer and trying those for myself. So another great way for you to get in more vegetables would be to switch out your pastas and your grains for potatoes. Typically we get in a lot of pasta, rice. Those are our typical side dishes when it comes to our meal on a plate. I love having potatoes instead. Potatoes can be controversial because they say that, oh, those are carbs too and you need whole grains. You need a little bit of everything. But if you're looking to get in more vegetables, sweet potatoes, purple potatoes, red potatoes, even white potatoes, they all have different types of nutrients in them, and it's just great to switch it up from time to time just so that you don't get bored. I love having red potatoes. I love roasting them. I'll make them for mashed potatoes. I absolutely love that. I also love sweet potatoes. I like to cut them up, and I'll even put like salt, pepper, some ketchup on them. I'll make my own sweet potato fries. Just anything where I can just get in that variety, and I just love having that. So my third way that we can get in more vegetables is to actually have them as snacks. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of celery, but I love me some baby carrots. Whatever it is that your preferences are as far as taste, that can be what you have. I also love having peppers as well. And peppers are kind of controversial because they're used as a vegetable, even though technically they're a fruit because the seed is in the receptacle of the fruit itself. So it gets a little bit complicated there. But peppers and hummus or just eating them raw by themselves, they're so delicious. I thought that I wouldn't like them until I just tried them in a vegetable cup that someone gave in an event that I attended. And when I just started snacking on them, I was like, okay, this is really good. I can do this. And then I just did it at home too and got in more and more often because I was already buying the peppers. I was just always cooking them. But as I mentioned before, having them raw gives you more nutrients. And so since I'm trying to get in more, I knew that I had to switch it up. And that was just another way that I did that. So another switch for you of how to get in more vegetables would be to replace your meat with veggie-based protein. And I'm not referring to more of the processed meats of Impossible or Beyond Meat, which I do actually like those too, but I'm thinking more in the term of beans. Beans can be controversial too, just because sometimes they give people gas, and I would just kind of see how your body reacts to having beans. But even if it's not a black bean or a kidney bean, even edamame is a great source of protein. And when I was doing the Daniel fast, I was able to have a lot of protein and not feel like I was missing out because I was eating a variety of beans. I think that protein is definitely something that's possible. Beans have more of that thicker, creamier texture where you can figure out how to put it in different things too and give it a meatier taste without actually having meat. So another way for you to get in more vegetables into your everyday diet is through breakfast. A lot of times we have vegetables more for the lunch and dinner side, but actually switching it up and having it for breakfast, and that includes like a smoothie, but also if you're having an omelet and you want to put in some sauteed veggies in that, or if you're doing just a regular egg scramble and you're putting in your carrots and maybe some spinach in there, then that's an option too. And even tomatoes can be a great option that you're putting in your eggs. Oh, also, if you're adding maybe like a sauteed side of peppers, onions, and potatoes, that's still a great way too, where you're getting in vegetables and you're not even thinking about it, but those are all still great things that you can have with breakfast, and it all nourishes your body and gets in those veggies. The one thing I will say with having vegetables in your breakfast is that typically when we make breakfast foods, we add a lot of oils and butters, and I would just be cautious with the amount that you're using there. You can basically negate the benefits of having those vegetables because you have so much oil and you're adding so much fat. And not necessarily saying that you can't have fat at all, it's just more like a balance. You just don't want to completely wipe out those nutrients that you have from those vegetables because you had a tub of butter that you cooked them in. The last tip I'll give you for having more vegetables is to have side salads. I know people don't necessarily like them too much, they find them boring, but you can make salads delicious. Especially like if you kind of think about it as more of an experience when you're eating, and when you're typically eating at a restaurant, you may have a side salad before you have your entree. Well, why not just make that at home? Make your own side salad. And so that's what I've been doing too. Or I've just been having a massive salad and been eating that with beans as my protein, maybe some corn. I'm not the biggest fan of salads, but I will say that I love having them when they are full of just different types of flavors. So I'm not the type that I'll just have just a leafy green and maybe some cucumbers. That's not me. If I'm gonna have a salad, whether it's a side salad or a larger salad as my entree or meal that I'm making, I'm gonna load it up. And it's like a wholesome, huge salad. And that's something that I can have in addition to whatever it is that I'm eating, because you're gonna get hungry, especially if you're working out and burning a lot of calories at the same time as well as eating those salads. You're gonna burn them pretty fast. That's where you wanna have something that's really filling and really wholesome so that you can not be tempted to have other types of foods that would derail you from your goals. One thing thing you do want to keep in mind when it comes to salads is that the dressing can kind of make or break you. Creamy dressings that are higher in fat, those can really give you some unwanted fats, and if you're already having fats, whether you're adding avocado to your salad or something like that, it can just be too much. I'm a person that likes more of the balsamic vinaigrette types of dressings. Those have fats in them too. I actually tend to go for the Primal Kitchen balsamic vinaigrette that's based in avocado oil. It's so good, but it has fats in it too. It's just not the same types of saturated fats or trans fats that a creamy ranch or Caesar dressing might have. But I'm still getting in healthy fats because you do need fat in your diet. There is no denying it. You need fat in your diet, but you just have to be careful with the amount that you have. So overall, the key here is that you want to make sure that you're getting in those vegetables in a variety of ways. Just thinking about it kind of differently and what works best for you. In general, you want to get those 4 to 5 servings, and really the more the merrier. The key is really just to get them in. So there you have it. Those are my tips that I use in order to get in more vegetables every single day. If you have any tips that you use for how you get in more vegetables, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them and try them out. And while you're leaving a comment, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.